Well, good afternoon everyone and welcome to a very special edition of WDOM Bite Size. I'm Rob Cornell and this is Mr. John Motson, of course, who's with us today. John, special day coming back here today to see AFC Wimbledon here. How have we been looking after you?
Oh, fantastic welcome. I have been once before. Your colleague reminded me as we were walking down here that I came to see a game against Barnet about 5 years ago. But this is the first time I've been for the last couple of years, and well treated and welcomed by Eric Samuelson, and I've had a chat with Neil Ardley, and the mood here seems very optimistic, and a lot of talk about the new stadium, of course. I've learned a few things about that today, and hopefully AFC will be in there in less than 2 years' time.
And for yourself, of course, it's the year that you've retired from great service to the BBC. Are you still kind of taken aback by the public reaction that you've had since then to the years of great service you gave to the BBC?
Public reaction has been fantastic. Yes, I've had a warm welcome wherever I've been, and I've also been very fortunate that when my BBC career ended, TalkSport kindly came in and offered me a post, a little spot with Hawksby and Jacobs on a Monday and a Friday. So I'm still broadcasting for them and enjoying it very much, and really it's kept me in the loop, and you know, good people to work for, big interest in TalkSport in all the clubs in and around London, so Wimbledon AFC get their fair mention, and I'm enjoying it very much.
Excellent. Just to say as well, I mean, the years that you've started out, of course, as a junior reporter in Barnet, working as a football reporter in Sheffield, World Cup finals, FA Cup finals. We're here now. You don't need the sheepskin coat today.
No.
But being here, you still get the same good feelings you do about football as you did back then.
Very much so, yes. I mean, as you say, I've been very lucky, of course, because thanks to BBC television, I went to the World Cup on 8 or 9 occasions, covered lots of cup finals, including 1988, of course. We must keep referring back to that. Well, England games, I can't even begin to enumerate them. So I went all over the world with the England team, and it was demanding, but I really enjoyed it. And but it doesn't make any difference. I still get as much pleasure out of coming down to a football match like this today as I've done throughout that period. Otherwise I wouldn't be here. And it's great to be on Facebook with you boys, because I didn't realise till we just started this is going to go far and wide.
Absolutely, it's going out all around the world. It's great to have Notty with us.
I didn't realise that when I was first asked about it. First of all, I thought it was just for the ground. But no, this is great. I'm really pleased to spread the word about football.
And the situation with, of course, AFC Wimbledon, the story over the years, I mean, for myself, I started, I think, coming up 38 years ago now supporting Wimbledon. It seems like it's going back full circle. Wimbledon are going to have a team back playing in Plough Lane again in a couple of years. It's a remarkable story. Well,
I mean, I was a regular down at Plough Lane in the 70s and 80s. I remember many a night down there in the little boardroom with Stanley Reid, the old chairman, and a few of the directors. I remember the cup final obviously extremely well, but it wasn't just that. I mean, I made some good friends down there. Some of the players then, the Sanchez and the Bessants and the Vinnie Joneses, made me extremely welcome. I saw Vinnie, by the way, the other week. He was a guest with me at Watford Football Club. Now, of course, producing as well as acting in his own films. Won't change, but great people and very down to earth. That was always the thing. When you went to watch Wimbledon or commentate at Plough Lane, you knew you were really with football people, and they'd come from, I mean, people used to call them almost like an extension of a Sunday league team. I know what they meant, because they were so down to earth, and that's what made a big impression on me at that time. And I had some wonderful times at Plough Lane, I must say, and I'm really glad that it has turned full circle. And I know it's the old Greyhound Stadium, but it's still Plough Lane, and I can't wait for them to start there and maybe go down there and come and see a game.
Absolutely, but I mean, it was the success of Wimbledon coming up through the leagues those years at Southern League ground, making it into the top flight. And those big clubs, they were, you know, all of a sudden turning up there, it was kind of overwhelming for them, wasn't it? It was part of the Wimbledon success being there.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I remember sitting in the little stand there, and Bobby Gould and Dave Bassett and all the managers that were in charge of Wimbledon, they could get in the ear of the linesman and the referee from where they were. And we had some great fun, and it did bring everybody back to their roots, really. I remember when Liverpool first came down there, and took one look at it and thought, what's this? And I think Wimbledon beat them that, well, they beat them more than once. So yes, I mean, it kind of gave the, and we mustn't forget, of course, that as well as winning the FA Cup, Wimbledon were established in what was then the new Premier League in the 90s. And it was a Premier League ground on the same level in that respect as Manchester United and Liverpool and Arsenal. They were neighbours in terms of the league they were in. And Wimbledon stuck it out, and I think 7th one year, was it, I think, in the Premier League. And of course I was really sorry to see the decline. I was there the day Wimbledon were relegated at Southampton when Neil Ardley played. In fact, he was one of Wimbledon's best players that day, and one of their best actually over the years. And he's doing a sound job now off the pitch here. Everybody knows what it's like in League One. No great resources, not enough money coming down from the pot that the Premier League and even the Championship have to pass on. And you have to make the most of all your resources, and that's really what Wimbledon have done.
Absolutely. We've got to talk about that day back in 1988. So many famous lines that Wimbledon fans remember. It's a weird and wonderful world, the crazy gang have beaten the culture club. And it was a special day for you and your commentary career, wasn't it, with that game?
It was, and my favourite memory of it, actually, it is a little bit personal, because as a commentator you always do your homework and you hope it pays off. And I always remember my proudest moment was when Dave Besant saved that penalty, because I'd rung him up in the week and said to him what would happen if Liverpool got a penalty, because John Aldridge was cheating a bit with his run-up, his step over, you know, and the little pause, and Dave Besant said to me, it doesn't matter what he does, I'm going to dive to my left. And I actually got that into the commentary before Aldridge took the kick. And I was proud of that, and also proud for Dave Besant, because I think he was the first goalkeeper to lift the FA Cup.
Of course, we've got to talk about, you've touched upon Neil Ardley as well. The fact that some managers now, they want to get into the game, into the top flight straight away. But he's cut his teeth with an academy at Cardiff City. He's kept this club in the Football League, got them promoted. He's done a lot to be proud of for this club.
Well, I think sometimes I look back at the managers of the past, and I think of Bill Shankly starting at Huddersfield and Carlisle, and I think of Brian Clough starting at Hartlepool. And how all of that breed of managers came through a lower division club. Well, now of course it doesn't work like that, because international players make a choice between being in the television studio or taking over a top team like Steven Gerrard or Frank Lampard. That's the way the game's gone. I can see their point, because you have to be somebody special now to go to a lower division club and even keep your job. I think the average time for a manager in the lower divisions now is only about 1 year. So those that come in now are going to start higher up. I think it's a pity for some of the managers at your level that probably don't get recognised, because chairman and owners want to go for a big name, and of course quite often the big name is in the Premier League. So that's where we're at, that's where the game is at the moment.
And in terms of today's game, of course, I mean, as you said, you've been down here in the past to support your own club, Barnet. Today, I think we've got Jim Rosenthal, of course, is an Oxford United fan, so can we perhaps chip into you to be perhaps taking Wimbledon's side today, or have you got to remain totally impartial?
Well, I remain fairly impartial. I don't want to get into the debate about the franchise, although the Oxford manager is a former MK manager. No, I mean, I hope, obviously it's a home game, and Wimbledon haven't won a home game this season, have they? So for Neil's sake and the sake of the supporters here, yes, I hope Wimbledon do win. But I've got a feeling that Oxford have got one or two very good young players, so I'm keeping my eye on them as well.
Absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to John Motson here today. Really good. Wherever you're tuning in from around the world this afternoon, join us for commentary from 3 p.m. with Mikey T and myself. John, it's been really good to have you on. Thanks very much indeed.
Thanks to your team. Thank you.